The millionaire's teary eyes locked onto the frail figure of his daughter slumped in a wheelchair. Once so full of life, she now sat silent and broken, a ghost of the vibrant child she had been. Doctors from across the world had come and gone, offering only hollow words and shaking heads. Money could buy anything, it seemed, except hope. Just then, a small voice broke through the heavy silence. "Uncle, I know how to make your daughter walk again," said a boy standing at the doorway. His clothes were torn, his face smudged with dust, but his eyes shone with an odd certainty. The millionaire turned sharply, his heart caught between disbelief and desperation. "What did you say?" he whispered. "I can help her," the boy repeated, stepping forward. His hand, rough from the streets, reached out gently to touch the girl's lifeless hand. She flinched, ever so slightly, the first movement she had made in weeks. A gasp escaped the millionaire. The boy smiled, a mysterious warmth around him. It wasn't medicine he offered, nor science, it was something far rarer, pure, unshakable faith. For the first time in months, the heavy gloom lifted, and hope tiptoed back into the millionaire's heart. The soft, determined voice of the black beggar boy echoed through the grand, marble hall. "Uncle, I know how to make her walk again." The millionaire, who had been lost in his sea of grief, turned sharply at the sound. Standing at the threshold was a boy no older than 12, barefoot and clad in rags. His skin was darkened not just by nature but by the dust of the unforgiving streets. Yet his voice carried a strength, a quiet conviction that seemed to cut through the heavy sorrow hanging in the air. The millionaire's heart wavered. He had spent fortunes on the finest doctors, bought machines from across the world, prayed at shrines, and donated to charities, all in the hope of curing his daughter. Nothing had worked. How could this ragged boy claim what none of them could? Still, something about the boy's steady gaze rooted him to the spot. It was not arrogance that spoke, but an unwavering faith, as if he carried a secret the world had forgotten. "What can you do that they could not?" the millionaire asked, his voice hollow with exhaustion. The boy stepped closer, his bare feet soundless against the cold marble. "I don't need machines," he said softly. "I need only her trust, and your faith." In that moment, surrounded by riches that had never brought true happiness, the millionaire realized that perhaps salvation came not from wealth, but from the pure, stubborn belief of a heart that refused to give up. The rough, calloused hand of the boy gently took the girl's cold, lifeless palm. His touch was surprisingly tender, as if he understood how fragile she had become. For a moment, the room seemed to hold its breath. The millionaire, standing nearby, watched with wide, fearful eyes, afraid to hope and yet unable to look away. The girl's hand was small and pale, almost weightless in the boy's grip. Her fingers did not move, her face remained still. Yet the boy closed his eyes, bowing his head slightly as if whispering a silent prayer that only he and the universe could hear. Minutes passed, or perhaps it was only seconds, time blurred. The boy's hand remained steady, patient, sending warmth into the girl's frozen skin. The millionaire could see it, a faint tremble in her fingers, so slight it could have been imagined. But then it grew stronger, undeniable. A gasp escaped the millionaire's lips. The boy opened his eyes and smiled, a smile full of simple certainty. He didn't speak, didn't boast. He simply believed, and somehow, through that belief, life stirred again in the girl's hand. In that moment, it wasn't science or money working miracles. It was the quiet, stubborn magic of faith and human connection. The dusty scent of the street clung to the boy's clothes as he stepped into the marble-floored mansion. Each step he took seemed almost out of place among the glittering chandeliers and towering golden pillars. His bare feet left faint smudges on the gleaming white floor, but he walked forward without fear, his small figure dwarfed by the grandeur around him. The servants exchanged uneasy glances, whispering among themselves. How could a beggar boy, dirty and ragged, dare to enter such a place? Yet the boy paid them no mind. His dark eyes were fixed only on the fragile figure of the girl sitting silently in her wheelchair at the far end of the hall. The millionaire, seated beside his daughter, looked up in surprise, his face etched with the lines of endless worry. The sharp contrast between the boy's poverty and the mansion's wealth was almost painful to witness. Yet there was something powerful in the boy's presence, something stronger than riches or status. The dust on his clothes spoke of hardship, of nights slept on cold streets and days spent under the burning sun. But it also spoke of resilience, of a spirit that refused to break. As he drew closer, the boy's voice, soft yet sure, filled the heavy air. "Uncle, I know how to make her walk again." And in that one moment, all the riches in the world seemed to shrink before the priceless hope carried by a dusty, barefoot boy.